Hello, everyone, and welcome to another one of my reading and writing diaries. Today is July 27th, I believe. Yes, July 27th. I was correct. And it's a Sunday, and this is another one of my video diaries. This is volume 20, I believe. It's a lot of diaries. And I have some generally positive news. I wrote 981 words this week, so that means I'm up to 36,324 words, which it'd be nicer if I had written a few more words this week. I would have liked to have written at least 2,000, but about 1,000's okay, I guess. I do have to step up my pace. I am a little slow right now, and I would prefer to be writing about 2,000 words a week. So in general, as I said, it was a positive week. I wasn't feeling blocked or feeling like I couldn't do it this week, and I did write the words. I didn't write many words today. In fact, I actually wrote all of them this week, and I wrote them in the morning when I'm generally supposed to do them. The issue, though, with me this week was that I found that my writing has lost like almost all quality to it. I'm finding my writing is just terrible right now. Very mechanical, not a lot of life, doesn't seem exciting or interesting or new, very just words on a page. But I felt this before and I just have to go through it. Partially this is because I think I mentioned last week I got to this kind of like key like scene where one of my characters is meeting my main character for the first time, and I want it to be a big set piece and like lots of things to happen. And a lot of the characters that I have in the novel like meet and important things happen, and that will later affect other things in the novel. So far, I mean, planning all that is difficult when you don't really know the full structure of your novel as it is. So part of this is just writing it and getting that structure down once, and then I can change it. And I don't really know like I've started writing, and like previously I said I want to create something that's really interesting and people will think about and will like to retell this part of the story to their friends or whoever. This is the dream, of course, you know. Um, but to do that, I have to think of something that is different or interesting. And right now I'm having difficulty doing that. I don't feel like anything I'm writing is very inspired in terms of this. I mean, part of that is uh, I I do feel, and this is maybe something I'm starting to realize, is that you kind of need two spaces for writing. You kind of need the space where you're just writing things and you're just putting things down on a page, and then you do need a space where you're kind of free thinking. You're like uh, imagining all sorts of different things that are related to your novel or your work, and that can give you like fresh inspiration for when you're sitting down and just kind of grinding things out. And I don't think I had a lot of time this past week that happened, to kind of have that kind of imaginative space, and I think that's probably why my writing is lacking. Um, and so, you know, I find I find when I'm walking, I can do a lot of thinking in this respect, and I haven't done a lot of walking. I've been riding my bike more, and riding my bike's wonderful, but it doesn't. It's harder to think about things while you're riding your bike than it is when you're walking. Um, so there's that issue. Uh, I mean, this is a character that I've been really interested and wanted to write about for like since I've been writing the other sections. So it is a little frustrating that I'm finding it so hard to come up with anything really that intriguing. Um, but this is the way it is. Just have to go through it. And hopefully this week that's coming up, I do plan to have. I had a lot of work outside of work. It's again, continuing statement. I know I keep saying this, but this week I do imagine that I'll have less of it. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to spend more time focused on my writing. And of course, just this morning, I was thinking of another story to write, and so who knows? I may start distracting myself with that story, but I shouldn't be doing it. And that's basically it for my writing. I am continuing to read Summertime by Coetzee. It's going slowly. Once again, I'm not reading. I'm not riding the streetcar or the subway very often, so I don't have a lot of. That's how I do most of my reading, is reading while I'm riding the transit, and so that's one reason why I'm reading slowly. This section of the book is much better than the first section. Still not necessarily my favorite, but I'm enjoying it more. The kind of plot stuff I'm a little bit not that thrilled about, but the bracing bleakness is certainly there in the second section. The main character at one point, he keeps talking about death. He's very obsessed with death, and the main character is supposed to be James Coetzee as a younger man, and so I guess he was very obsessed with death when he was younger, bit of a goth, but didn't dress like a goth or anything like that, but very gothy. And I suppose that's one way that I relate to him, is that I think about that a lot as well. And that's one reason why I'm writing the book that I'm writing, is a way to address this, and address these thoughts, and to address them in a way that's hopefully entertaining or interesting. I think that's one reason why we write. I think that for me is one of the main reasons we write, is to try to find a way to integrate what we know about death with, and try to find a way to think more positively about it. And I think that's what novels are. And a good novel won't pull any punches or try to make death look any less scary than it is. A bad book will pretend that death is easily defeatable. And so, those two things are in conflict in a lot of works. And this is, as I said, one thing that I really want to do with this book. And it reminds me, too, of what I was watching the Elaine Stritch biography last night. Elaine Stritch has recently died. It's pretty sad. I didn't know her theater work very well. I'm not a theater nerd, as some of my friends are. But I did know her from 30 Rock and from one or two other things. And this documentary was amazing in that it shows you a very vibrant and talented person confronting old age, and for the most part, triumphing over old age. But there was a moment in it where she is rushed to hospital, and she confronts her own mortality on film. And what was shocking, that part of this part of this documentary was actually quite upsetting to watch, because she's pretty brutally honest about what she's feeling. And at one point she says, I hope it's not just nothingness, because that would be terrible. And I think that's sort of I actually kind of want to give one of my characters that line in my novel, because I think that is one of our greatest fears. We don't know what's going to happen after we die, and there is a lot of times we use art and beauty, and we say that, well, the existence of beauty means that we can't be given such a short shrift, or such a bad deal after we die. And I think it's appropriate to think, maybe we are given a short shrift, and maybe beauty can't stand against death, and you know, we can write books or create artworks and try to show, basically try to persuade ourselves that they're greater than death, and we just have no idea if they are going to be, or that they're proof that death isn't exactly what we fear it to be. So yes, some not necessarily warm and positive thoughts today, but I think, well, I mean, this is what I'm kind of talking about in my novel, and I've been accused previously in my past work of not having stakes that are very high. If you want to have high stakes, put some death in there, and certainly raises the stakes. Um, so, I mean, it's definitely appropriate for what I'm writing about, and sometimes you feel like if you think about it, or if you find a way to talk about this crux of things, then you will create something spectacular and something amazing, because it will be, one hopes, the most true thing in the world. I don't know. No, this is just my opinion. Just trying to bat around some ideas. So I don't know. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I've been inspired by. It's definitely not helping me with the particular section that I'm writing, because the particular section I'm writing is supposed to be the exact opposite. It's supposed to be about happiness and about how life isn't terrible, and possibly one gigantic nihilistic joke. So, yeah. I'll have to find some other inspiration. Maybe you can suggest some. Yeah, so that's basically it this week. I'm going to have a pretty short video. I don't have a lot to say. But I do always like feedback. If you have any feedback, please do leave a comment on the YouTube video, or send me an email to the email address in the About box below. Otherwise, hope you have a good week. I'm going to try to write away. Bye-bye. Oh, sorry.